Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real World English. I'm your host, Emma, and I'm so happy to be here with you today.
And I'm Jake. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're listening. How are you doing today, Emma?
I'm doing really well, Jake. The sun is shining, and I just had a wonderful cup of coffee before we started recording. How about you?
I'm great. I took a nice long walk this morning and saw some beautiful birds in the park. It's always nice to start the day with some fresh air.
That sounds lovely. And we're so happy that our listeners have joined us for another episode. Today we have a really interesting topic to discuss, career goals.
Yes, this is something that affects everyone, no matter where you are in your professional journey. Whether you're just starting out, changing careers, or looking to advance in your current field.
Exactly. And we wanted to talk about this because both of us have had our own experiences with setting career goals and working toward them. I think sharing our stories might help our listeners think about their own paths.
Definitely. And since we have many English learners listening, we'll be speaking slowly and clearly today, as always. We want everyone to be able to follow along easily.
So, Jake, maybe we could start by talking about what career goals actually are, just to make sure everyone understands what we mean.
That's a great idea. So, career goals are the targets or objectives that we set for our professional lives. They can be short-term, like learning a new skill this year, or long-term, like becoming a manager in 5 years.
Right. And they're really personal. Everyone's career goals will look different based on their interests, values, and what makes them happy.
Absolutely. Emma, would you mind sharing some of your long-term career aspirations? I think it would be helpful for our listeners to hear a real example.
Of course. Well, when I was younger, I always dreamed of being a teacher. I loved the idea of helping others learn and grow, but over time, my goals changed. I realized I was really interested in communication and connecting with people through media.
That's how you ended up hosting this podcast with me.
Exactly. One of my long-term goals now is to grow this podcast to reach English learners all around the world. I'd also love to write a book someday about language learning strategies.
Those are wonderful goals, Emma, and I can definitely see you accomplishing them.
Thank you, Jake. What about you? What are some of your career aspirations?
Well, I've always been interested in technology. In college, I studied computer science because I loved solving problems and creating new things. My long-term goal is to start my own software company that develops educational apps.
That's fascinating. So you want to combine technology with education?
Yes, exactly. I think technology can make learning more accessible and fun for people of all ages. That's my passion.
I love that. You know, I think it's important for our listeners to understand that it's okay if your career goals change over time. Mine certainly did.
Absolutely. As we grow and have new experiences, our interests and priorities might shift. That's completely normal.
Let's talk a bit about the challenges people might face when trying to reach their career goals. This is something everyone deals with at some point.
Definitely. One big challenge I faced is self-doubt. Sometimes I wonder if I'm really capable of achieving what I've set out to do.
That's so common, Jake. I think most people experience that feeling at some point. For me, a major challenge has been balancing different priorities in my life.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Sure. While I want to advance in my career and achieve my professional goals, I also value spending time with family and friends, taking care of my health, and having hobbies outside of work. Finding that balance can be really difficult sometimes.
That's what we call work-life balance, right? Making sure your job doesn't take over your entire life.
Exactly. And it's something many people struggle with, especially in today's world, where technology makes it easy to work from anywhere, anytime.
That's very true. Another challenge I faced is figuring out the right educational path for my goals. There are so many options these days: traditional college degrees, online courses, certifications, apprenticeships.
It can definitely be overwhelming. How did you decide which path was right for you?
I had to think carefully about what would best prepare me for the career I wanted. For software development, I needed strong technical skills, so I chose a computer science degree. But I also took online courses to learn specific programming languages that weren't covered in my formal education.
That's a smart approach, combining different types of learning. What about you, Emma? What educational path did you follow? I studied communications in college, which gave me a good foundation, but I've also learned a lot through hands-on experience, volunteering at a community radio station, taking workshops on public speaking, and of course, starting this podcast with you.
That shows there's no one-size-fits-all approach to education and career development.
Absolutely. You have to find what works for your specific goals and situation.
Let's talk a bit more about work-life balance. I think this is something many of our listeners might be concerned about.
It's definitely a hot topic these days. According to recent studies, more and more people are ranking work-life balance as even more important than salary when choosing a job.
That doesn't surprise me. People want to enjoy their lives outside of work, not just earn money.
Exactly. And different careers offer different levels of flexibility and balance. For example, some technology jobs allow for remote work, which can help with balance.
That's one of the reasons I'm interested in tech. But even fields that traditionally had strict schedules are changing. Many companies are becoming more flexible because they realize happy employees are more productive.
That's a good point. Do you have any tips for maintaining good work-life balance, Jake?
I think setting clear boundaries is important. When I finish work for the day, I try to fully disconnect, no checking emails or messages until the next workday.
That's excellent advice. I also find it helpful to schedule personal activities with the same commitment as work meetings. If I put yoga class or dinner with friends on my calendar, I treat it as just as important as a work appointment.
I love that approach. Work will always expand to fill the time available, so we need to consciously make space for other things that matter.
Exactly. Now, I'd like to talk about some specific career fields that our listeners might be interested in. Let's start with technology and digital careers, since that's your area, Jake.
Sure. Technology is a rapidly growing field with lots of opportunities. For example, software developers earn a median salary of around $133,000 per year in the U.S., and the job outlook is really positive.
That sounds promising. What skills do people need for a career in technology?
It depends on the specific role, of course. For software development, you need strong technical skills, problem-solving abilities, and good attention to detail. But soft skills like communication and teamwork are also really important. Most tech projects involve collaborating with others.
That makes sense. And what about creative industries and arts? That's another area many people are interested in.
Creative careers can be very fulfilling. Graphic designers, for example, create visuals for websites, advertisements, and products. The median salary is around $61,000 per year.
And I imagine you need artistic talent and technical skills for that kind of work.
Yes, plus knowledge of design software and an understanding of what makes good design. Creative careers often require building a strong portfolio of work to show potential employers or clients.
What about business and entrepreneurship? I know you're interested in starting your own company someday.
Entrepreneurship is challenging, but can be very rewarding. It requires a mix of skills: business knowledge, leadership, creativity, and resilience. You have to be comfortable with risk and uncertainty.
And I imagine the financial rewards can be significant if the business succeeds.
Potentially, yes, but it's important to remember that many new businesses fail. Being an entrepreneur means being prepared for setbacks and learning from them.
That's a good point. And finally, let's talk about education and teaching careers, since that was my original interest.
Teaching is such a valuable profession. Teachers help shape the next generation and make a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. The median salary for teachers varies by level and location, but it's around $60,000 to $70,000 per year for many positions. And while the job outlook isn't growing as rapidly as some fields, there's always a need for good teachers.
What skills and qualities make someone a good teacher?
Patience is definitely important. Also, communication skills, organization, creativity, and a genuine desire to help others learn. Most teaching positions require at least a bachelor's degree, and often a teaching certificate or license.
It sounds like a fulfilling career path for people who have those qualities.
It really is. Now, as we start to wrap up, I think it would be good to offer some advice to our listeners about setting and achieving their own career goals.
Great idea. My first piece of advice would be to really take time for self-reflection. Think about what you enjoy doing, what you're good at, and what kind of lifestyle you want. Your career goals should align with your personal values and priorities.
That's excellent advice. I would add that it's helpful to set SMART goals. That stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, try something like, I want to be promoted to a senior position in my field within 3 years.
Yes, that makes the goal much clearer and easier to work toward. I also think it's important to be flexible. As we discussed earlier, interests and priorities change over time, and that's okay.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask for help or seek mentorship. Talking to people who are already in your desired field can provide valuable insights and guidance.
That's so true. Networking and building relationships can open doors to opportunities you might not find otherwise.
And finally, remember that career development is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, successes and failures. What matters is that you keep learning and growing.
I couldn't agree more, Emma. Well, I think we've covered quite a lot today about career goals. Before we go, we'd love to hear from our listeners.
Yes, we're really curious about your career goals. What are your aspirations? What challenges have you faced in working toward them? And what questions do you have about career development?
Please share your thoughts in the comments section on our website or send us a message through social media. We read every comment and try to respond to as many as we can.
Your experiences and questions might even inspire future episodes of the podcast. We love hearing from you.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Real World English. You can find us in all major podcast platforms.
Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this discussion about career goals has been helpful and inspiring for you.
Until next time, keep practicing your English and working toward your goals, whatever they may be.
Goodbye, everyone, and take care.
Bye for now.